Hello, everyone, and welcome to Technology Tuesday, hosted by Out of the Box Technology. We're excited to bring you these free webinars that feature third party apps, tips and tricks in and outside of QuickBooks, and hot topics that our industry is encountering. My name is Jennifer Darachuk. I will be one of your moderators today. I also have with me my colleague Ellen Schroeder.
Hi, everybody.
We're really excited to be here with you today. If you have any questions during the session, you can go ahead and chat those over to us, and we'll make sure that those are either addressed during the presentation or we'll take questions at the end. We'd also like to tell you a little bit about out-of-the-box technology.
Yeah, we have a great, lots of services for those in the franchise space. We have QuickBooks training, integration, hosting, and support. We offer bookkeeping services. We have a lot of franchise clients who are on that. Website design, as you can see right there. A lot of people use our data migrations, and again, the franchise services and solution. And we have a great product too. It's called Recur 360 for recurring invoicing and billing. You should take a look at that at recur360.com.
Yeah, and we're also really excited about a product called our event app, which we can totally customize to your event and make it exactly what you need. All the features, including integrated registration. People can sign up for individual sessions and events within your event. It's a really great product that a lot of people are really liking right now. So those are some products that we are really excited about going into this year. But enough about us. I would love to introduce now our host for our presenter for today. I have Adam Acosta on the line with us. He's the Senior Solution Consultant over at QVinci Software. So without further ado, Adam, I'm going to hand things over to you and let you get started with the presentation.
Very good. Well, I certainly appreciate the invitation today. As Jennifer had stated, my name is Adam Acosta, and I am the subject matter expert on multi-location financial consolidation here at QVinci. Now, on this call, you'll notice that my screen will not change for the next few moments, but we will progress forward smoothly. But we're going to spend the next 30 to 45 minutes discussing how franchises and multi-unit organizations are maximizing their operational performance and their profitability. Now, in the first 10 minutes, I will be sharing insights on the challenges that are facing organizations across the majority of industries, and I will review some best practices on how QVinci has helped companies from the largest and the most recognized names in your space to newer organizations with accelerated and profitable growth plans. Now, we all know that having access to consolidated and unit level financial insight in a timely manner is critically important, but it's also very challenging to acquire. Now, as a consultant with QVinci, I do spend the majority of my time talking with senior leadership teams in a variety of industries, and though they have their own specific corporate initiatives, the majority of their focus is universally consistent and includes simplifying the consolidation of financial data and timely reporting, mapping disparate financial data into a standard corporate chart of accounts, improving operational efficiencies through benchmarking analysis and KPI building, as well as reducing financial wastefulness by proactively addressing accounting irregularities. Now, as we walk through each one of these points, I will challenge you to ask yourself, am I also facing this challenge? And if so, what am I doing to improve this situation? So let's begin with the first point, simplifying the consolidation of financial data and timely reporting. Two-thirds of all franchise and multi-unit organizations rely solely on POS data for their financial reporting, simply because the manual process of collecting full financials from the field is too time consuming. Unfortunately, POS data is simply not enough if you want to enhance operational efficiencies and scale profitability. We all recognize that not every location leader is an accounting professional, nor do they necessarily understand how to easily digest financial information. Furthermore, most leadership teams that I work with face the challenge of various locations using accounting platforms ranging from QuickBooks to handwritten notes on napkins that are stuffed in coffee cans. Thus, attempting to get accurate financials in a timely fashion from their location is about as enjoyable as a root canal. And once you do, the data is all over the place. So the ability to gain a consolidated view of the overall financial health of the entire ecosystem has become tedious at best and hopeless at worst. But it still remains a critical requirement. Now, given these realities, the question becomes, how do we easily bridge the gap so that both corporate and unit level leadership can gain the insights necessary to make the operational adjustments required for sustainable and profitable growth while eliminating the time consuming manual process that many are currently forced to rely on? We will discuss possible resolutions to this daunting challenge a little bit later in the call. To the second point, mapping disparate financial data into a standard chart of accounts. Now, like many multi unit organizations, I'm guessing that you are also faced with this challenge. Um, and as I just mentioned, there is a substantial struggle in making sense of financial data gathered from multiple sources. For many organizations that I work with, as they initially grew, there simply wasn't a standard chart of accounts requirement, or it was simply ignored at the unit level. So, for example, many are faced with uh, building consolidated reports that have three names for the same P&L line, such as rent versus lease versus mortgage. And they also face the challenge of misaligned data, such as payroll recorded as an expense in some locations and as a cost of good in others. So, is it possible to resolve this issue without creating chaos at the unit level? And interestingly enough, it is. Later on, I will show you how others have automated the mapping of dissimilar charts of accounts into a standard corporate chart of accounts without forcing standardization across field locations, which we know is especially difficult for those who have been doing business a certain way for a number of years. But in the meantime, ask yourself, how much time is your staff spending on aligning field financials that could better be spent providing guidance to your unit level management or franchisees? If you're like most executives that I speak with, the answer is simply too much time. My third point, improving operational efficiencies through benchmarking analysis and KPI building. Now, keeping everyone across your organization on the same page and marching toward the same goals is a challenge faced by all multi location organizations. For leadership to be effective, they need to be able to quickly and easily collaborate with one another. They need to know their locations, how they stack rank against one another, and they need to be able to share relevant best practices that yield enhanced operational efficiencies and increased profits system wide. My clients agree that the greatest risk to their organization's long term growth are locations that have been in existence for less than 3 to 5 years. Your franchise business consultants or regional managers are very well trained at teaching your location leadership best practices from the perspective of the way of the brand. For example, product placement, cooking temperatures, stocking, customer interactions, etc. But are they prepared to speak to the financial health and longevity of that entity? And for most, the answer is a resounding no. But once organizations have implemented the proper technology that allows them to easily and cost effectively produce and digest financial reports that can compare similar locations against their top 10%, their top 25% with a geographic region within a geographic region, as well as identify financial trends across their ecosystem or even against each location owned by a specific master franchisee, their world changes for the better. And let's face it, if your unit level managers or franchisees aren't looking at the same financial reports, how can you create an environment for them to share best practices? And typically, these leaders have sound relationships with one another. So, who better to facilitate the ecosystem's ability to increase operational efficiency and profits? And then on to my fourth point, reducing financial wastefulness by proactively addressing accounting irregularities. Now, when unit level managers aren't utilizing their human capital and financial resources in a manner that drives revenue growth, or worse, negatively impacts their profitability, how do you quickly and easily identify the challenges before they become financial hardships? Now, unfortunately, most executives that I work with, the answer is that they're working reactively because they simply don't have the proper unit level financial visibility to proactively address these common issues. So let me share two quick examples with you. I have one client who adopted my recommendations last year after two of their largest multi unit franchises closed their doors within 2 months of each other, and the combined loss equaled 50 locations. Now, interestingly enough, each of these two ownership groups had just received honors as having made the largest contribution to the brand's expansion. So the CEO's reaction was, how can two of my most established franchisees fail without any warning? And ultimately, they felt they needed to get greater visibility into the franchisees' financials if they were going to help them and the business be more successful. So ask yourself, is your organization able to easily identify and properly address areas of financial risk, especially at the field level? And what is your hard cost and your opportunity loss costs associated with the closing of a single location? If you are a franchisor, how much royalty revenue are you not realizing without having the proper optics on franchisee financials? So, to that last question, I have a client who is incredibly grateful to have adopted QVinci's financial reporting solution because it facilitated their ability to identify a combined loss of nearly $3 million in unrealized royalties spanning a 24-month period. Now, although we collectively cringe at the thought of fraudulent reporting, we all recognize that unfortunately it does happen. And I think that it's safe to say that no one participating in today's call wants to find themselves facing either one of these examples. So, as I promised, let's take the next few moments so that I can give you the 30,000 foot overview of how other organizations are resolving each of these four challenges we discussed through automating the collection and consolidation of financial data in near real time, accessing actionable financial insights through consolidated report packages for corporate use and individual report packages for unit locations and or franchisees, and implementing peer benchmarking and KPI analysis that fosters collaboration through best practice sharing across their organization, all resulting in increased profits and business intelligence through a deeper understanding of their unit level economics. Now, as you know, QVinci is the leader in providing cloud-based financial data consolidation, syncing, mapping, reporting, and business intelligence to organizations that use QuickBooks, Xero, MYOB, or Excel. We are also the number one reporting app in the Intuit store. Uh, for most organizations, upgrading to an expensive and a complex ERP system to meet their financial reporting needs is simply not an option, as the cost and the pain of change is simply too high. But through QVinci's patented technology, we empower corporate and field decision makers with an ERP like functionality that delivers access to actionable financial analysis and business intelligence that drives operational efficiency, increases profits, and provides meaningful insight into the financial health of the entire organization. Our solutions are cost effective, the adoption is quick and easy, and our impact is immediate. Which brings us to the question, what is QVinci for franchises and multi-units? So you'll notice here in the top left that we have a sync solution. Now, financial data is automatically synced daily for QuickBooks Online and each time that a QuickBooks desktop file is opened. Additionally, all financial data is retained for up to 36 months For those that are not on QuickBooks, on Xero or MYOB, we also offer an Excel sync capability for P&L reporting. Our solution is hosted on AWS. It is the most secure cloud hosting service available, and it is trusted by brands like Intuit, the parent company of QuickBooks, Netflix, and a host of other organizations. And as an added layer of protection, because we are one of their premier partners, Intuit hires a company to come in each year to attempt to hack through our firewall. And in the previous 10 years of our existence, no one has been able to accomplish that task. So between our solution and AWS, which is SOC 1, SOC 2, SOC 3 compliant, DoD compliant, and HIPAA compliant, you will not find a safer environment for your financial data. Next, you'll notice we have our Kivinci portal. Now, the Kivinci portal provides corporate staff with a common place to view unit level files. This tool also affords our clients the ability to set alerts focused on specific targets pertaining to measurable goals or budget thresholds, and these can be received daily or weekly. Kivinci's solution also includes unlimited users and supports an unlimited number of synced financial files. So we are scalable to meet your growth requirements. On the right-hand side, you'll notice that we have our report authoring, packaging, and publishing. Now, Kivinci has created several dozen financial reports used by accounting firms, franchises, and multi-unit businesses, both throughout the United States as well as abroad. And our team of experts will create actionable financial report packages that are easy to comprehend, and they are accessible with the touch of a button for all entities in your ecosystem. We do have hydrated examples on our website at kivinci.com. We will breeze by that in a moment. But let's quickly talk about the value that Kivinci brings to your organization. As you see, there are three primary areas where our solution has a significant impact. First, Kivinci eliminates the guesswork and gives you the accurate, near real-time data that you need to make informed business decisions by providing business intelligence that reaches down into the unit level. You can benchmark individual units against the system, and you can build KPIs that improve your operational insight. It also shows you exactly when and where any financial reporting irregularities may have occurred. Second, our solution automates the consolidation of financial data from any number of units into a standard chart of accounts. So imagine having access to up-to-date financials without your staff spending countless hours manually collecting and organizing this data. For example, many organizations face the challenge of locations using dissimilar names, as I mentioned earlier. With our automated account mapping functionality, all unit level charts of accounts can be mapped into a singular corporate standard chart of accounts without forcing a change at the field level. So if you're looking at rent versus lease versus mortgage and corporate wants everything to be reported as rent, it doesn't matter about the rebels out in your field. They're all going to have their data from their QuickBooks file or their accounting file mapped into the rent line. So this means that your individual locations can continue using their unique account names while corporate views accurate and timely financial reports in that standard chart of accounts. And likewise, when financial data is misparented, our cross-account type mapping capability allows corporate finance to place payroll under an expense when a franchise has identified it as a cost of good. Let's face it, we recognize that that is money going out the door, it's not coming back. But some of your location leaders, your franchise owners, their thinking is that the cost of doing business is to have their employees, so they place payroll under cost of goods, and this is going to skew your books when you consolidate. And then to our third point here, we automate the report packaging, the publishing, and the authoring process, making it very easy to keep everyone informed and on the same page because these reports are automatically updated and they're accessible by either a PDF or an Excel export. And additionally, we can either teach you how to style and customize these reports to meet your specific needs, or we can do it for you. So The implementation process is very simple. We are going to build an account for you. We're going to add your staff into that account. We're going to add your unit names or your locations into the account. We're then going to link and sync these files. Each file is only going to take 3 to 5 minutes at the most. And from there, we're going to work with the corporate team to identify the reporting package that makes the most sense for your organization. From there, we will style it and customize it if necessary. And from there, you can begin to access those reporting packages. Now, most organizations are spending anywhere between an hour and a half to an entire week working on the consolidation of their financials. With Kivinci, you are looking at an average time of a reporting package with multiple reports in it for 3 minutes per month. That's a huge time savings. That's a great deal of efficiency we are giving back to your organization. So, just a few quick takeaways here before we move on. Uh, we offer automated data consolidation, so we can sync by file, by class, or by location. And again, we do retain that data up to 36 months. So that is the entire previous 2 years plus year to date of the current year. With our dynamic mapping, we are able to map to that standard chart of accounts and also perform cross account type mapping. We have automated reporting, your operational efficiencies to include collaboration and workflow. And we also provide you business intelligence such as KPIs, vertical analysis, and peer benchmarking. So with that, I'm going to start here real quickly. So Um, as I stated a moment ago, we will work directly with your leadership team to determine the reporting package elements that are relevant to provide your organization with the actionable insights required to profitably scale your growth. Now, the question most people ask here is, can't I simply get these reports directly from QuickBooks? You can certainly get reports from QuickBooks, but the reporting that they offer is simplistic in nature and it doesn't provide the business intelligence that most organizations demand. And that's not to say anything negative about QuickBooks. Both their franchise and their accounting groups selected Kivinci as a reporting partner, and they actively put us in front of their customers to provide them with the dynamic reporting and business intelligence which they desire. It is the reason that we are the #1 reporting app in the Intuit Store. So let me just briefly show you some of the reporting that we currently have available. And I also want to reinforce that we can teach you how to stop.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
I'm sorry, Jennifer?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay. So let me just briefly touch on some of the reporting that's currently available here. I want to show you this particular report. This is one we put together for one of my clients recently. But we're going to put your logo on the front as well as your reporting period here. We are going to identify the locations that are within this report. So if it's a single unit or the entire ecosystem, it'll outline each one of those unique identifiers. We'll provide a table of contents so we know what we're looking at and where to find it. And then we have our KPI summary page. Now, with our KPI summary page, we will take your income and analyze it by uh, total sales, total income, however it is that you'd like, as well as select 3 to 5 pieces of your expenses to analyze. You're going to tell us what each one of these pieces are that are meaningful financial data for you. You will provide the ideal ranges for us, and we will then hard code them so that highs and lows reflect in red and green. And with this, we will easily identify the financial health of your organization down to the unit level because those that are in that ideal range see green. Those that are outside see red. Green is good, red is bad. Your franchise business consultant, your regional managers, when they come on site, they're able to not be financially savvy and at the same time know that they need to direct that particular location leader over to operations or create a mentorship between the location leaders, between those that have accomplished and those that are striving to accomplish. So just a couple of examples of the reports that we can provide you. We have P&L with a 12-month trend. So you've got your last 12 months, you've got your consolidated totals, and then you've got your variance across the period. You have a P&L with a 3-month trend. So month over month with variance plus consolidated totals and period variance. We've got a P&L with the monthly comparison. So this month versus same month last year with variance for dollar and percentage. Or a balance sheet with the monthly comparison. So we can see how we did this month versus last month, also with the variance. And then you've got a 3-month trend on the balance sheet as well. So what we do is we identify the reports that are meaningful to your organization. We will then bundle them and we will drop them into our application. So let's run through this application real quickly. This is the portal view. This is the landscape view of your entire organization. So you have your company name. If you are a multi-brand organization, you would put your brands in this particular column, and then each location's unique identifier in the second column. We have here what file type they're on. If they're on QuickBooks Online or on Xero, we have an API integration, and that allows us to sync the data over every evening between 9 p.m. and 2 a.m. Central Time. For anything that is on QuickBooks Desktop, if you have well, anytime that file is opened, it will sync over. But we have also our monitor for last sync. So whatever day that today is should always be the last date synced for any QuickBooks Online file or Xero file. But when it comes to QuickBooks Desktop, if we see that there's a gap, now we're looking at a 2-week gap on these. We recognize we need to coach our location leaders more. How often are you opening that file? Shows you when the file has been closed for the month. They're ready to generate their reports for consolidation. You've got a couple of reporting columns. You've got your balance sheet with your aging reports, your cash flow. You've got your ratios. You've got revenue by month and revenue by year. And then you've got a collaboration and workflow piece. So who is responsible for communicating to this location leader? What do they need to be conveying to that location leader? Where are they each month in regards to closing those books? Do they need to meet with the location leader? Has the location leader entered all their financials for the month? Have they closed their book, etc.? You can create up to 22 different processes per month. Oh, my apologies. So this is our dashboard. This is the 35,000-foot view of the entire organization. This is the landing page for your location leaders. They will not have access to the portal. That is a corporate view only because the location leaders do not need visibility into the full financial health of the organization. Our dashboard runs on widgets, and the widgets can be moved on and off of the report or up and down based on viewing preferences. And since everyone has their own unique login, as I manipulate my view, it will not impact anyone else in my ecosystem. We also have filters here. Now, these filters can be used by your franchise business consultants or regional managers to slice and dice the information. It's also a way for multi-unit leaders to be able to isolate individual locations. So I'm going to look at this from the perspective of a smaller group in my Northwest region, and as I've done that, it's updated the financial data. So as I go through, everything that I look at from here on is only going to be focused on that Northwest region unless I tell it otherwise. You'll notice that we have fairly similar reports to what is available within QuickBooks. The difference is we do consolidation on the fly. So to give you a quick example, within the P&L, we have a variety of frequencies and date ranges that we make available to you. So I'm going to look at the P&L in two separate manners. First, This is a consolidated total by month for the entire Northwest region. So we see month over month, and we see our year-to-date consolidated totals all side by side. Now, I want to be able to look at how each individual unit is performing. So I'm going to look at a by entity report. And side by side, I can see how each one of these locations has performed year to date plus their consolidated year to date totals. And again, with the options that you have with frequency and date ranges, we can select any variety here to isolate that information for you. You'll notice that we also have a balance sheet. The balance sheet has the same frequency and date range options as the P&L. All of the information is pulled directly from the accounting application, so it is not pulling sensitive data such as account numbers, card numbers, or personal identifiers. The two things that you'll see on this particular page that are unique are the peer benchmarking and the ranking reports. Now, the peer benchmarking we can do against the P&L or the balance sheet. We can compare to the average or the top 10 or 20%. But I'm going to take my group of locations. I'm going to compare them to the corporate average so I can see how each one of these locations compares to that average. And at the same time, you'll notice that each one of these has a unique number beside it. So Columbus is 8, Jackson 13, all the way to San Antonio 26. So out of my 26 locations, that is their ranking number. Now, how do we get to that ranking number? Well, we recognize that you're going to have locations that are in high economic zones. You also have those that are in low economic zones. So basing it on net income or total profits is not going to um, be the best deciding factor on an entity's health. So we do it based on percentages. So we can see that Columbus is ranked number 8 because they are number 6 for total income, number 6 for gross profits, number 19 for total expenses, and number 6 for net income. Whereas San Antonio, dead last, their numbers on the opposite side of that scale. So what we can do here is when we're looking in the application, we can say, well, if Columbus is just outside of San Antonio, then perhaps I need to get San Antonio and Columbus working in a mentorship so that Columbus can share best practices, better ensuring financial health. Another thing is we can have operations reach out to them if they don't have a mentor there in the area. Again, you'll notice we have aging reports, we have sales by customer. For franchises, we have the expense by vendor. Obviously, we want to keep everything uniform, and we can make sure that, in fact, they are keeping to the company standards. When we look into this, we can see that there are elements in here that are not investing in the areas that they're supposed to be. We provide you a number of reports that are ready to go within our Jumpstart gallery. And what we do is we work with you to identify the ones that make the best sense for your organization. We will bundle them into a package. Now, this is where it gets really simple. I provided you the walkthrough on the example of a reporting package a moment ago. When your location leaders, your corporate leaders, whomever it may be, want to access their particular numbers for the month, they'll simply come in here to their report package and have a month-ending report. They'll open it up, they'll refresh the data, they'll save it, and you can choose to export it to a PDF for a nice, clean, easy to comprehend view. Or if you like numbers and digesting more complex pieces, then you can export to Excel as well. And then with that, just to give you an idea of some of the various reports that we have available to you, we've got 13 different P&Ls. I'm going to show this one to you real quickly because this one, when I show this to my accounting clients, they like to ooh and ah because there's a guaranteed answer one of two ways when I ask them if they can build this. The first is that they can indeed build this, but the time that it takes them to build this is not worth the return on investment they're receiving from their clients. so their clients will never receive this data. And of course, the other option is they don't have the expertise, so they deem it impossible, and their clients will never receive this data. So who is actually able to ever receive this data? So you're looking at the last 3 months with the period totals side by side with the same period last year, plus the variance. Then you've got your year-to-date totals for this year versus last year and the variance there as well. That's a pretty complex report right there. We have, outside the P&L, we've got your BVA, which you can do monthly or annually. You've got business intelligence to include your KPI analysis, your benchmarking pieces. You've got a last 3-month comparison, balance sheet. You've got a cash flow. Let's look at this multi-unit here. So I can see the cash flow for each of my 3 units side by side, plus their consolidated totals year to date. So with this, hopefully this provided you some useful insight into the challenges that are faced by many companies and why franchises and multi-unit organizations turn to QVinci to resolve their financial data consolidation, their syncing, their mapping, reporting, and business intelligence challenges. So if you would like to discuss the specifics around your organization, what you're facing in greater detail, then please do feel free to reach out to me to schedule time on my calendar. So with that, Jennifer, I'm going to hand it back over to you now.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Adam. That was really good. And I really enjoyed that first part where you talked about the different challenges and really segued into your solutions. I know that Out of the Box works closely with QVinci a lot on a lot of those things, especially with creating a standard chart of accounts and those types of things. So I know it's a lot of really exciting stuff that QVinci offers, and so appreciate your time today going over all of that. One question that we have is, how do you convince a small business who, say, has a lot of family on as their employees who are using their time and therefore getting paid to do a lot of this stuff? How would you speak to them to say, this solution is great and will save you time without having to, fire your cousin or something like that?
Well, first off, I'd have to speak to the fact that there are many things that cousin Vinny could be doing outside of the consolidation. Typically, when working with these pieces, um, unless you are a highly logical, highly analytical individual who loves numbers, most people find this piece rather stressful. Um, so the time that it takes to consolidate and uh, realign financial data is very time consuming and, like I said, could be very stressful. So in those situations, you'd have to consider redirecting what their strategic focus is in the organization, not so much of not doing accounting, but what more could they be doing that is not that particular piece? Where else could they be adding value to the organization and something that is not so sit down in the seat and stare at a screen for hours?
Sure, absolutely. And that's a great point too. I think it helps open the door for other things that these people can do, and also potentially grow their business. They're, like you said, their mind may not be an accounting mind. So if you take them off of that task and put them onto something, it could open up a whole world of possibilities for them to do, marketing or just whatever else might help grow that business. So that's great. Thank you.
Absolutely. I mean, mission critical is definitely what the business needs to be focused on, and if we can eliminate the time suck of consolidation and analytics, then let us do that heavy lifting.
Exactly. So I was wondering if you have any examples of non-franchise type of clients that would benefit from you.
Oh yes. So uh, any kind of multi-unit organization in general. Now, just to give you an example, I have a number of clients who have their investments in a variety of verticals. So they may have a business where they're focused on automotive. They may have um, a food and beverage organization. They may also invest in nonprofits, etc. And through each one of these organizations, they may have a couple of different locations. And what they're looking at, and what they're looking to do, is not just the unit level per brand, but it'll be a unit level visibility into each brand, a roll up into each brand, and then an overarching parent who oversees each one of those brands. To give you a clearer example, uh, I have one client that I just signed on this morning, and they have five different brands of, um, uh, I guess, restaurants. So they've got one that's an Irish pub, and they've got one that's focused on wings, and they've got one that's a hamburger joint, etc. And so each one of those brands has various locations in it. So they want each location to roll up into its own reporting, and then from there, each report or each reporting brand to then have another standards chart of accounts laid on top of that that then rolls into their parent company.
Mm.
So we can get rather complex.
Sure.
You know, we do also have single unit locations. They just want to eliminate the burden of dealing with the financials in any capacity. So they like the idea of touching a button, less than 3 minutes. They've got everything done for the month.
And who wouldn't like that, right?
What's that?
I said, and who wouldn't like that?
Oh yes, absolutely. I mean, the vast majority of my clients are spending a minimum of an hour and a half at the bare minimum. And like I said earlier, I've got some that claim to spend an entire week to do their monthly, and then spend almost a month doing their quarterly. So I can't imagine how much time we're giving these folks back.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Ellen, did you have any questions or comments on the presentation?
No, I think it's such a great solution for those in the franchise space. We've been working with QVinci for as long as we've been in that particular space and members of the International Franchise Association. So we've seen it work with our clients, and it really is a great tool. And then to just talk a little bit more about what Jennifer was saying, how we're QuickBooks consultants. That's where we started, and we have helped tons of franchisors with their chart of accounts to kind of get everything cleaned up. And then once that's all cleaned up and all figured out, the chart of accounts, then it's a great entryway into QVinci, where everything's clean, all the information is clean, and so all the information comes out clean with all the reporting. So if you have questions about what we can do along with QVinci, please reach out to either Jennifer or myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Adam, like I said, this was really, really excellent. Thank you so much for joining us for Technology Tuesday. I'll leave your information up for just another second before I take the screen back. And I'll actually hand it back to Ellen. She'll talk about some things that we have coming up.
All right, ladies, I appreciate the invitation today.
Thank you so much, Adam.
Absolutely.
We're really excited to bring back Technology Tuesdays. We had these a few years ago, and we thought, we got a lot of response to them, these free webinars. There's just so many apps and so many great solutions, third-party solutions that integrate with QuickBooks. So we want to show those to our clients. So we're going to gather them all up and get them on the calendar so that you can join when there's something that looks interesting to you. And so we've got some coming up next month, and also in May you can see what we're doing. Field service management is a software that integrates with QuickBooks, and it's for those who have people out in the field, who need to kind of keep track of where everybody is and where trucks are and appointments and that sort of thing. So we can give you a high-level look at that. It's a great tool. And we have folks on staff that can help with the integration of that and with the training for that as well. And then we're going to look at Nexonia. That's a partner of ours. And also the Easy Cash Flow Management for businesses and accounting teams. That's going to be a good one. Who doesn't want easy cash flow, right, Jennifer? So
absolutely.
Yeah, you can just register right on our website, right there at outoftheboxtechnology.com, and then Tech Tuesdays.
Great. Yeah, we're really excited, like Ellen said, to bring these back. We've got a lot in store. If there's anything that you want to hear from, or you are a third-party app and you want to get on our schedule, let us know. Get in touch with either Ellen or myself. Check us out online, see if that would be a good fit. And we would love to see you again on our next Tech Tuesday. So thanks, everyone, for joining us today. Adam, again, thank you so much. And on behalf of our entire organization, Ellen and I thank you, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.